They say keep your friends close and your enemies closer. And I can't think of no better way than describe the relationship between the UAW and newly formed Stellantis. And that's not me trying to describe the relationship. That is what the UAW officials are saying in the open for all to hear. Because what if I told you that the UAW has laid down claims that Stellantis is sabotaging Ram trucks and Jeep Wagoneers so that they can move production overseas? Now, if a dealership tries to strip you of a non-refundable deposit or loves to sign you up for services that you never agreed to, or even set your vehicle on fire in the service departments and claims they aren't responsible, my friends at Gordon Apartments does not like that nonsense either, and even helped me in a situation where a salesman committed wire fraud to keep my deposit on a D170. You can reach my friends at Gordon Apartments with my special email address, that's butter@floridaengine.com, for a free consultation to give you the help that you need and the help that you deserve. The UAW is now expanding its reach to production plants in the South, promising potential new members higher pay and greater job security, a compelling offer for many. While the automakers folded to the UAW to get them their historic raises, the UAW celebrated a huge victory. But Stellantis has been strategically laying off workers to compensate for the increased wages, and even the other automakers are seeking low-cost alternative to this wage problem. One alternative in this war with the UAW could mean the automakers moving production to lower cost regions, potentially undermining the job security that the UAW aims to enhance. Stellantis in particular, according to the UAW, seems to have been threatening them with moving production of Ram trucks to Mexico. If you are unaware, Stellantis already builds the HD trucks in Mexico, and in the UAW's own words, they believe Stellantis is sabotaging the Ram trucks with quality issues to justify moving production to Mexico, more than likely because it is a cheaper labor market.
After that, we had a meeting. We had a meeting with the company. There was a lot of concern expressed about what we feel locally is sabotage to our plant. The issues that's going on with the amount of units that's in I status right now, at some point somebody should have said, hey, stop building trucks.
Now, if you don't know what I status is, that's basically repair status. Now, repair status means that when the truck went down the line, something was wrong with it. Now, it could be anything from maybe a missing window to a missing module to a torn seat, whatever. So the truck is basically sent down the assembly line, it's completed, and then it's marked for I status, and then it's taken outside and basically set in a row of all the other I status trucks. And as I said in other videos, you can go look at Google Maps. If you find like a big giant white tent over there at SHAP, that's the I status tent where they go and repair all these trucks. And then once they finish getting repaired, they put them back on like final assembly. Well, not really final assembly, but they put them through the rest of their checks to get a window sticker, and then it's released. So this is basically what we're talking about. There are so many issues going on with these new 2025 trucks, because remember, their Hemi trucks ended back in February. Now for February, now you got a bunch of issues where now you have these Hurricane engines in these trucks and the revamped Pentastar, then now things aren't going right. Now things aren't clicking, and these new trucks have a new refresh, so all the old parts don't work in these new trucks. So you're going to hear what the next guy says, that they feel as though Stellantis is sabotaging them because some of the things that happen at WARNS truck, where the Wagoneer is made at, which the Wagoneer has so many units that's having to get bought back by Stellantis, they feel as though the same thing happened at WARNS truck is happening there at SHAP. So how many Ram trucks now are going to get bought back, just like the Wagoneers that was having problems? Because I don't know if you guys saw one of the other YouTubers who had a Ram 1500 with a Hurricane engine in it. He kept saying in his video that, hey, his particular unit had a lot of problems with it. So what if the problems he had in his truck is related to this right here that the UAW is saying that Stellantis is causing? Let's continue.
They're reporting a lot of false information. Some of the issues that they was having at WARNS truck with the Wagoneer, with the wire harnesses being too short and they coming apart once the truck is being built. it's making it seem like the operators aren't connecting those connectors. They are stretching the connectors, but the reality is those wire harnesses are too short.
Right.
So once you make that connection, once it goes through the system, through a couple bumps in the carriers, or once it's even put together, the connections is coming apart. And it's making it seem like the operators aren't doing the job. I mean, and they reporting this up top. So a lot of it is sabotage.
You ask a lot of people who have Wagoneers, you go in the Wagoneer Facebook group, a lot of those trucks have a lot of problems to them. And apparently, according to the UAW, part of those problems is the wire harness is not long enough, and going through bumps, i.e. you hit a pothole in the road, or you hit a dip in the road, or whatever, some stuff mess up, maybe it's because your wire harness in your truck ain't long enough. And according to him, if it goes through the line, which is not really doing anything, but going like maybe a couple miles an hour, it's coming apart and having issues there. So this seems like a very big issue to where, I mean, come on now, if you're going down the road and you hit a bump, stuff comes unfastened, and they know it's coming unfastened, and these vehicles are still on the road. This seems like a very big safety issue, if you ask me, because how many people is going to be having these issues when the new RHO comes out and they don't fix this issue with these wire harnesses? And let's say you go to jump an RHO, because everyone's seen all the promotions for the TRX that you can go jump it. Then we saw the RHO commercial, you can jump it. What about the Rebel? The Rebel's an off-road truck. What if you're going and you're towing stuff with these trucks and you hit bumps because you can't go really avoid them with a trailer? What's going to happen when you hit bumps in all these new trucks that has these short wire harnesses? So this, honestly, to me, is a very big issue, and I'm going like, there's no way you should be legally allowed to know that this stuff is going on, and you're still pushing units at the door. And you see so many people going on having all these warranty issues with these Wagoneers, and now here it goes, get introduced to Ram, and it just sabotage. Like, this is like a thing between the UAW and Stellantis, when this is like a public safety issue. Because what if that wire harness comes loose and that's tied into your brake system or whatever, and you can't stop? So this is a lot more serious than just, oh, this is sabotage, it's gonna cost us our jobs. This is like a supplier issue that if this is a problem and they known about since last year, the supplier should have been told last year to, hey, make the wire harness a little bit longer so it can actually connect properly. But just saying, man, and they're saying this out in the open. This is a podcast, it's on Spotify. You can see the link to it, and you can see the name of the podcast. So I'm just saying,
there's not even a training plan. It's completely sabotage all the way around. I mean, and we got to do our part and make sure we're building a proper product. In our meeting, the plant manager sat there mute and with a disgraced look on his face, and it's showing that he don't run the floor, he don't run the building. And I said it, he don't run the plant. Somebody else is pulling the puppy strings.
These issues ain't new. We got documentation going back 3, 4, 5 months where we complained about X, Y, and Z. Went on the shop floor, and some of the team leaders said, hey, we've been saying something's wrong.
Yeah, I mean, you can see how these guys are talking. And these right here ain't like regular employees that work on the line. These are UAW elected officials. These are guys who are, talking to Stellantis, the plant manager, and stuff like that. You're going to hear later on how much they like the new CEO of Stellantis. But I'm just saying, like, this is actual UAW officials publicly saying that there is something wrong with these Ram trucks and no one's fixing them. And you're going to see the crazy numbers of how many trucks he's saying that's in repairs sitting at the plant getting fixed. And you're going to hear a part where he tell you that there are like so many trucks having to get towed because they're not starting, and all kind of crap with modules and stuff. Is like, this is like a big disaster. And I'm like, this is crazy. But let's keep going right into it. You're gonna keep hearing this craziness,
and nothing's been done. So that to me does lead into sabotage, because at the point that we're doing our part and reporting up and documenting issues and nothing's been done, then that means somebody behind the scenes, whether they're corporate. But now I got to start looking at the end game. And the end game is the media spin that the company is going to put on the plant, that we are lazy, no good workers, don't want to do our job. And at some point, I'm going to have to sit up in front of somebody in newscast and say, hey, no, here's the documentation that proves that the company is lying to the American public. And it's not the UAW. It is the company. It's these people from overseas across the pond that's running these companies into the ground strictly and solely for profit.
Wow. Just wow. Incredible. So you can see right there, the UAW has been documenting these issues for months and no one at corporate Stellantis have been doing anything. Maybe the reason why stuff is not getting done was because Stellantis fired hundreds of engineers just a month ago, and there's no engineers left in America other than maybe a handful of them who are going around trying to figure out what's going on with Demon 170, blowing engines and having oil leaks and all this other crap. So those hundreds of engineers got replaced for workers out in Mexico, Brazil, Morocco, and India. All those engineers are away from the plant, so it's not easy to get them in there to go fix whatever issue this is. But I mean, I think if it's a wire harness that's too short, that's going to tell a supplier, hey, make the wire harness longer. But there are more issues that I'm going to get in where he's going to get into, but let's get back into this craziness. Whew, boy.
I hate to say doom and gloom, but I'm worried. That's the word I'm gonna say. I'm cautiously worried on what's going on. How do we go from 3 years of truck of the year to all of a sudden, we can't build a truck, or we can't do it correctly with a quality vehicle? And I'm not even worried about the trucks that's going out now. Well, actually I am, because 3 years from now the quality problem's gonna come up and we're gonna be losing, right? This contract, to the length of time that we got to go through this contract, is going to show a lot of where the next vehicle or the next product going to be placed at. And I want to make sure that it's placed at SHAP, and we can't let the company sabotage our opportunities for the future.
Yeah, just to piggyback out what he was saying, that for 3 years they made truck of the year. I will say that in year one, I was making TRX videos where there was a lot of quality issues with the launch of that vehicle. And I did get a phone call from one of the heads of the plant to assure me that there wouldn't be any issues with the TRX, because at that particular time, there was a lot of TRXs that had loose suspension bolts or missing suspension bolts, or connectors not pushed in, or let's say oil lines not pushed in all the way. So this is not the first time I've gotten my 2 cents into like the UAW and Ram trucks and how they build these vehicles. And I've covered that in the past where I did that, and then somehow Ram found out which TRX was mine. They pulled my TRX off the line. It went through extra checks, and then somebody from Ram corporate called my dealer, and my dealer was looking at me like, why in the heck is Ram corporate calling us to tell you that they went over your truck to make sure nothing was wrong with it? And that was like pretty much one of the fastest times I ever took delivery of a vehicle. I was literally in there. They talked to me about the situation. I went through the paperwork. I didn't have to give really any information, no paycheck stubs, no license information, like nothing. I literally just went in there, signed paperwork, and got out of there. Like they was like under orders, like, hey, make sure everything goes for this guy smoothly. So like I said, this is like the first rodeo of me sticking my nose in these Ram trucks being built not up to par. But it seems as though this is not a UAW issue like it was the first time with them stripping bolts or missing bolts. So this time it's the actual Stellantis is not I guess having engineers nearby to actually fix these issues with these trucks. So let's continue.
And when you asked them how many clean trucks was in the yard, what answer did they give you?
They told me they didn't know. They fumbled and stumbled and they didn't know. And that's part of that conspiracy theory.
So we got trucks that can be sold, that's ready to go.
Yes.
That they don't even know how many out there. They don't know where they located. I just wanted to add that.
Sound like they stockpiled.
That's exactly what they're doing.
Exactly.
So that 6,000 don't sound too bad because they made it seem like we just couldn't build the truck.
Right.
They got 18,000 that passed and it's ready to go. And this 6,000 is just a drop in the bucket.
And that 6,000 may not be a true 6,000 I status issue.
Because some of them are parts issue. They don't have a headlight or a tail light, or they waiting on window modules. A lot of them got plastic on the window. That's a supplier issue. It's not the plant or the people issue. The supplier didn't have the modules for that particular window.
Yeah, maybe Stellantis is stockpiling Ram trucks because maybe there's some of them that's on the worst selling list currently, and dealers are flooded with trucks and they're not trying to take delivery even more to crowd their floor plan, because I don't think there's going to be too many people who's buying hurricane powered Ram pickup trucks when you have 2022s, 2023s still not selling. And heck, even for that matter, 2024s. But let's hear this nice little juicy part where he's telling us that, hey, some of these trucks or some of the issues that you might have in your truck may be intermittent issues because of certain modules in your vehicle.
Then you teach me about something about we can build the truck right, but if some modules don't wake up, then the truck ain't gonna act right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the trucks don't act right in the end. Sometimes if you retest them, a failed truck, it'll pass. So some of this shit is just engineering.
Yeah.
And it's not the people. You know, that was some of the issues with the brakes. You know what I'm saying? When this super module shit that they put in and trim, if it don't act right, it affects all the other modules that go in. And this new Stellantis system, whatever they call it, that they were telling us about, Atlantis or whatever this shit is. It's just everything causes, it's a cause and effect for the truck not to properly work.
Wow, you got intermittent issues going on with modules, especially ones attached to the brakes in a 6,000 pound vehicle. Yeah, that sounds very, very safe. Where you test it one time, it works. You test another time, it doesn't work. Yeah. Wow.
But we defending the work ethic of the people, and we learning about modules and everything else that could go wrong, that's going wrong, that they want to say as a man, but we definitely know it's engineering.
In our meeting that we had on that Friday, we did have that conversation about the modules that you just brought up, Jay. And that goes back to the narrative they're painting, because what they said was you can start the truck and the modules doesn't read and wake up all the other modules, so the truck fail. They come back 10 minutes later, they start the truck up, the modules talk to each other, bam, the truck passes, right?
Yeah, this is like a make it make sense moment. You have trucks that have modules that does not wake up every time you start the key, and it fails the truck at the plant, but then you can wait a few minutes later, crank it back up again, and then it'll cut back on. And you had the UAW saying multiple times that this is a engineering issue, and Stellantis lays off hundreds of engineers who could help fix this problem and hire overseas engineers who have no idea, because they're all rookies on these particular systems. Yeah, somebody to make this make sense. This is very, very weird indeed.
And my fear is, they put it on the workers, right? So that gives them justification on why they can want to move different product lines or even shut the plant down. And B, what happens when that vehicle actually get in the field? And now it's out in the field, and as a customer, you start your truck up today, you Gucci, you good, you rolling, and then you go to the store, Myers or wherever you go, and you start up and it won't start. Who are you gonna blame?
Definitely the workers, right? Because
so you'll feed into that narrative.
It's the public perception, right?
Yeah.
And the most disheartening part to this was when we had the meeting with the vice president and plant manager and his superiors. The SPW team said we had this exact problem at Warren Truck, and shame on y'all for not capturing the data and the know-how to fix. And then it was said that, well, maybe we using the leftover parts from Warren Truck. Wow. Because we having the exact same problem that they had with the modules not waking up, with the trucks not starting, with the computers not responding.
And brake failures and all that.
I know somebody that actually had to take their brand new truck back to the plant after talking to the plant manager, and they had to put a flash drive in there
and reflash it.
And reflash the truck, a brand new truck. And they only did it because that person worked there.
Wow, and even the UAW themselves is worried about the nonsense going on with the issues with these new trucks. And Stellantis corporate is not doing anything to address the issues. And they talking about they got like, almost 20-some thousand trucks already built that's sitting there at the plant. And it's not including the other tens of thousands of trucks that's already out there in the public. So if you having issues with your truck, this is probably where it's coming from. If you had a Wagoneer that was very glitchy, this is probably where it's coming from. And then for them to say that they having the exact same issues from Warren Truck is happening over there at Sterling Heights, because Warren Truck built the Wagoneer, the Grand Wagoneer, and the Ram Classic. They have the same issues over there. Now they're gonna have it over here with these new Ram trucks. So your new Ram 1500s with your Pentastars, your Hurricanes, all those trucks are affected, and they got a lot of technology in them. So, and he's already worried right there. What's gonna happen to get into the field? So it's like, he heard the one guy right there talking about, hey, brake failures. I'm going like, this is not very good. And this is the UAW saying this in public, and this is just wild. This is just insane.
How much are they paying to have these trucks dragged to another location? The towing.
I think last week checked, there was over $250,000.
That's $250,000. That's just that one that we know about, but we sure it's a lot more than that. So you got 200 some odd thousand. Then you have the worker that will eventually get to $40 in 4 years, but yet we reading that the CEO got 39 million. So just that math right there is not mathing.
For how many years?
For 52 weeks. You throwing away all of this money, then you could pay a one man $39 million, and he like what, 106 years old, so he not even gonna live long enough to spend that, but they can just give it to him. They're showing us clearly that they don't even care about the money. They care about the way that they perceive us as workers, to say that we're the problem. The whole company is just, I always say demonic, satanic, whatever you want to use. It's evil at its finest. So we need to understand the employer that we have. They have no soul, and they don't care about us. $39 million, as E say, in one day. But we can't get $40 in 4 years.
Wait, that was actually the most funniest part of this whole thing. This dude was like 109 years old, and you give him $39 million. I feel him. I feel him. But I mean, I don't know how the CEO got that compensation package when pretty much all of FCA's old vehicles, Stellantis new vehicles, all of them are not selling. No one's buying Hornets. No one's buying Challengers, Chargers, Durangos, Ram HD trucks, Ram 1500s. No one is buying vehicles. Like, this is probably the worst year for Dodge, Ram, Fiat, Chrysler, pick a brand. This is probably the worst year ever. And it just so happens to coincide with the fact that there is no Hemi engines in none of the vehicles. The only Hemi engines that's left in a new vehicle is an HD truck or the Durango Alchemy, whatever. So you can see why. No Hemi, no sales. But this new future with all these EV trucks or EV vehicles, well, we'll go with EV trucks, because this plant is going to make the Ram Rev and the Ram Charger, and you're going to see this last clip, I promise, last clip. You're going to see in this last clip that even this little area that they built for these trucks is dangerous. Roll the clip.
Even though we drowning and we building a battery area that's just doomed from the beginning. You got a battery that could be on fire underwater for 15 minutes, but I'm mad at you because you don't have on glasses. No. How about something in the plant that can kill everybody? Let's talk about that.
Let's talk about that tornado, but that's later on the podcast.
You got a labor manager out there.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Even the batteries in the plant could kill everybody. That is crazy. How these officials from the UAW is talking about the working conditions that Stellantis has put them in. And, my other video that I did about them firing all the engineers and putting them overseas, I had one little clip in there where I was talking about that Italy and the workers there in Italy, they were complaining to the government and stuff that it's unsavory conditions in the plant over there in Europe. So same thing, what these guys complain about: unsafe conditions, sanitary issues. I mean, WARNS truck is about to go on strike because they can't get bathrooms and stuff cleaned out. And you see they talk about in SHAP that the roof's leaking and all kinds of crap. So Stellantis is like doing a lot of stuff. I mean, $39 million. I mean, I could have sworn that, it don't take $1 million to fix a roof. And I mean, even if it does, the CEO could have donated maybe $4 or $5 million out of his salary. I mean, he just got like 20 something million dollars like last year, maybe $30 million last year. I think he can donate $5 million to get the roof fixed, or, get these guys some PPE, glasses, whatever. But I mean, I'm just saying. But let me know what you guys think. Is the crap hit the fan for the UAW and Stellantis, because this is just Ram trucks. Well, what's going on at all the other plants? What's going on over at Toledo with the Wrangler and the 4xe Wrangler, right? What's going on? Well, we already know what's going on at Warren Truck, because they're about going strike because the plant isn't clean and stuff. So let me know what you guys think. Is there a concern about the actual quality and safety of the new 2025 Ram trucks under Stellantis? Ram trucks was always great under FCA. There was like one of the best time periods, but ever since Stellantis came along, they're more expensive and apparently they're less safe. But like I said, let me know what you guys think. And until the next video, I'm out.